Okay, common percentages of increase and decrease. We're going to start off with 20 and make a 10% increase. So 20 represents 100% of the original. To find 10%, we're going to basically divide 20 by 10. Dividing this by 10 gives us 2. So 2 represents the 10%. So let's increase it. We get 22, and 100%, 110 gives us 110. Sorry, 100 plus 10 gives us 110. So 22 represents 110% of the original 20. Now let's take a look at 20%. 20 is the original, so we'll call it 100%. And we want to find 20%. Well, if 10% is 2, then 20% will be twice that, which is 4. So we'll add that, and we'll get 24, which represents 120% of the original 20. All right, the 5%. Okay, 20 will be the original, so we'll call it 100%, and we're looking for 5%. Well, if 10% is represented by 2, then 5% will be represented by 1. So we'll add that. And so we'll get 21, which represents 105% of the original 20. Now 15%. 20 is the original. We'll write 100%. And we're looking for 15% of that. Well, 10% and 5% is represented by 2 and 1. If we were to add these two, we would get 15%. So that'll be 3. So 3 represents 15%. Let's add that. And we get 23, representing 115% of the original 20. Now let's do some decreases. Here, 40 is the original, so we'll call that 100%. Okay, we want to find 10%. Well, to find 10%, we're going to divide 40 by 10, and it becomes 4. So 4 is 10%. We want this to be a decrease, so 40 take away from 4 here. We'll make this 10, and this will be 3. So 4 from 10 gives us 6, and 3 comes down, 36. So 36 represents 90% of the original 40. Now let's find 20% and make a decrease. 40 represents 100%. To find 20%, I'm going to look at the 10%. If 10% is represented by 4, then 20% would be represented by twice that, or should I say 8. Now let's subtract. And this I'll just kind of subtract 8 from 40, which will be 32. And 32 represents 80% of the original 40. Okay. Now let's focus on 5%. 40 represents 40. 40 represents 100% of the original. We're going to look for 5%. Well, if 10% is represented by 4, then 5% will be represented by half the 4, which is 2. And 40 take away 2 leaves us 38. 38 represents 95% of the original 40, because we made a 5% decrease. Lastly, 15%. Okay, 40 represents 100% of the original. 15% can be found by looking at the 10 and the 5%. The 10% is 4, the 5% is 2. So when we combine these two, we get 6. 6 will represent 15%. So when we subtract that, we'll get 34,
is representing 85% of the original 40 acres.